Hello, this is Jason Matthews. I'm a retired law enforcement officer, and today I'm going to be answering the question, why do you hate the police? And there's a very simple explanation for this that you're not going to like. But before we get started, if you support the police, click the like button. And if you do not support the police, click the dislike button. It's anonymous. And I'm just curious of where you stand because I get a lot of divisive comments on this channel. And it's funny because many of you think that I support the police and many of you think I do not support the police. And if that's the case, I'm doing a really good job. In the vast majority of cases, people hate the police for one simple reason. Now, there are exceptions to this, but it's not that prevalent. The main reason, the overwhelming reason why people hate the police is because they hate themselves. And this not only applies to the police, but this applies to any group of people that you put a label on and you put them in a group and you label that group as bad or that you hate them. That includes Jews, that includes black people, that includes white people, that includes Palestinian people. It includes immigrants. Any group of people that you project attributes onto and say, they're the bad people over there. I hate them. They're the bad people. I'm the good guy. They're the bad guy. Whenever you do that, you are projecting. This is a psychological theory. If you think about it and you're very honest with yourself, which is very hard. It's very hard for us to be honest with ourselves about why we're having the thoughts that we do. But if you analyze it and you think about it and you research it, these theories and these thought patterns that we have, you will realize that whenever someone puts a big group of people, in the case of law enforcement, police, into a big basket and groups them all together without knowing them, because there's almost 1 million law enforcement officers in the United States, working in thousands of jurisdictions, having millions of contacts every day, your knowledge of what's going on out there with police is extremely minimal. Extremely minimal. A fraction of a percent of your personal knowledge of police, of what's happening in society. Yet, if this applies to you, you project onto the police your own self-hatred. And why is that? Because police especially are an easy group to hate. They're an easy target. And they're an easy group of people for you to project out your life problems onto and say, I'm not happy because of those guys. They make my life hard. They're wrong. They're bad. They're doing the wrong thing. And I'm unhappy because of that. That's basically what you're saying if you're in this position. And I get this all the time because on this channel, I get a lot of hateful comments from people who have no idea what my background is. They watch 30 seconds of a video and they comment. And that's why strict comment moderation is on this channel. One of the reasons is because we have police explorers monitoring the comments, and I don't want them to see a bunch of profanity. And they don't need to hear your hatred. And police are an easy target because you could choose any target out there to project your unhappiness onto. But police are an easy target because it's unacceptable to say things about a large group of people, for example, all black people or all white people or all gay people or whatever things have been okay in the past. Those things have gone out the window. And now people are searching for another group that they can lash out at in public legally and get away with it and think that they're going to feel good about themselves because they lashed out at this group of people, which are the police. Trust me, there's a lot of things that go on in the world much worse than what's going on with police. Are there bad police? Go watch my video entitled, Are Police Corrupt? And I explain that in detail. But trust me, I was in the military in the first Gulf War in the early 90s. There was a lot of things worse that went on in the military from a violence standpoint or a hateful standpoint that the public would not like if they saw. Let's say if we had the military wearing body cameras, you would be much more outraged about that than you would about what's going on with police. Yet people, generally speaking, support the military more than they do law enforcement these days. And why do people find that police are an easy target these days? Because of all the negative publicity out there. The 1% that's being broadcast by the news organizations out there that you see on YouTube, that people are making money off of this. These news organizations are making money off of you watching the news. When you watch the commercials, their goal is to keep you watching, so they give you the worst of the worst for you to watch. And they ignore the 99% of all the good that's going on. When was the last time you saw good stories on the news? Think about it. Yeah, they might throw some lighthearted story, but are there more bad things going on in the world, or are there more good things going on in the world? Think about it. But they focus on the worst of the worst. Why? Because they make money that way. YouTube makes money that way because it's shocking. And it keeps you in a constant state of fight or flight because you're upset, you're pissed off, and you're pointing fingers at the bad people out there. So when you watch that negative news and you keep watching, you're being manipulated by the news media, by YouTube, by Twitter, whatever. You have bought in hook, line, and sinker what they're telling you, and you're pissed off about it. And if you feed yourself that type of information all the time, that negatively impacts your happiness. That negatively impacts your emotions. That keeps you in a constant fight or flight state. Think about it. If you were watching only the positive news out there, you would have a more positive attitude and you would have no need to be lashing out. But even if you had a case which is valid, for example, you were done wrong by the police, which is rare, most people do not have interactions with the police in their lifetime unless they're breaking laws. If you went about your business in daily life and did not break any laws and were respectful with others, you would not have any interactions with the police except for maybe 1% of people, even if they were doing everything wrong, because it happens. There's bad police out there, but it's a very small minority. So while it's very unlikely, it is possible. Maybe you had a bad interaction with a law enforcement officer, but think, was it an illegal action that you experienced by the officer? If you really are honest with yourself, was it illegal? Or could it be you just don't know the law, you don't know the case law, you don't know the policies and the procedures that police are operating under? Or maybe you had a bad attitude, but that's on you, right? You have a bad attitude, you have to be accountable for your bad attitude when dealing with law enforcement. Partially, that interaction has to do with you. It has to do with your attitude. It has to do with your compliance. And so, based on your attitude, that interaction with police might come off and might start on a bad foot. Police do not have to be nice to you. Police are not there to be nice to you. Police are there to do a job. You probably don't like that police have to be nice to you, but that's not the case. There's no law or policy concerning that unless there's a jurisdiction out there, some rare jurisdiction where there is such a policy, for example. And so most interactions you're going to have with law enforcement are matter-of-fact interactions. Now, is it advisable for law enforcement to have a positive attitude? Yeah, it's advisable, but they're not breaking any laws or policies just because they don't have a good attitude or they're not positive or the interaction is not positive. This is not a customer service welcome to McDonald's job. And this tells you how society has changed radically, because this was not a problem really in the past, because I was in law enforcement for decades and it progressively got worse and worse and worse. And I can only guess that possibly the generational gap caused that. The sense of entitlement, of being treated a certain way. So I would always advise you, if you come in contact with police for one thing or another, take the initiative. Have that interaction start well and end well. It's on both people. I had many people in my career try to taunt me, and I never put up with that nonsense. people would just randomly come up to me and start talking smack for no reason whatsoever. And this is what I'm talking about. They were just unhappy people. And you can never satisfy unhappy people. They're just miserable. They have nothing else to do in life but be miserable. And they're going to see police as an easy target to take that frustration out on. And because police are public figures and they wear a uniform and they wear a badge and their unhappiness in life, they're looking at police as an authority figure to project out on their happiness. They're part of the government. They are part of the bad guys. So this is how it generally works, with few exceptions. In my career, I had many good interactions and many bad interactions with people. And the bad interactions I had, the people were just angry people. They're angry people. They see you as a punching bag to take out their frustrations on as a law enforcement officer. And no matter how you treat them, they're still going to be miserable. And so this is why, and I always say generally speaking, because there are some minor exceptions. Like I said, if someone was really done wrong by the police legitimately, in other words, action was taken against them, against law, against policy, for no reason whatsoever, in those cases, yes, it would be justified to have a negative general attitude towards police, just as if someone was bit by a dog. They're probably going to be afraid of a dog, any dog, because of that interaction. But in most circumstances, in my experience in law enforcement, people had a negative connotation about the police because they were miserable, or because of a perceived negativity towards police, of a perceived negative interaction they have with the police, or because they thought they were done wrong by the police. But of course, not knowing case law, statutory law, policies and procedures, even though they believe that they were done wrong by the police, they actually were handled properly. And so this is why you, generally speaking, if this is applicable to you, hate the police. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to be notified when new videos are released. Take care and have a good day.
Bail out. It's going to be at Fremont and Ridgewood.
Run to the eastbound behind Smoke Engineering.
Guys, let the dog do his job.
Alright, they're still running eastbound. Got one black male running eastbound behind Coastal Spine and Sports.
Somebody secure the male that gave up and let's make a perimeter.
All right, black male, golden black shirt running left.
Got one black male doubling back towards Ridgewood.
Male secure. All right, green, direct us to other people, please. All right, it's going southwest. Set up southwest.
Hey guys, there's a black male somewhere behind this business, Coastal Spine, and a two-story house.
It's the one with the black shirt, white pants. How many do we have in custody so far? 2 in custody, 2 outstanding. 1 outstanding is a black male, black shirt, white pants.
Air 1 and Canine, we got one of the males is right behind the Coastal Spine and Sports, that long brown building with a roof.
Air 1, K9 32 is in the woods. South of the crash. Cross the canal, going towards the railroad track. Black male, yellow shirt.
We probably need a unit at Shady and King.
Put your other hand where I can see it. He broke my arm. He broke it. Shut the up and lay back.
Stick. Get off the radio and give me the air. I got a guide dog bit here in the woods. Everyone, you're flying over me right now. There's open in the canopy. Keep your hands where I can see them, you hear me? Cross your legs. Don't do anything else, you hear me? I gave you opportunities to give up, dude. Why didn't you stop?
We're looking for 4 bodies at least. And we have 4 accounted
This is
for.
what happens when you don't stop. Sit still.
There's 1 in the woods. There's 2 on Fremont with the car. Anybody else got one?
Blood on his left upper arm, just so you know. We're done. Watch yourself when I spin him out. Come here. Come here.
Did we catch the guy that everyone had eyes on? No. Joshua K97 is trying to track down.
Come on.
We're behind 912.
Come on.
All right. Where's the guy to the tracks with his dog? Last guy, he was wearing.
I'll come right here. Good boy, buddy.
Good job, good job.
Come on, kid. What a dog. What a dog. Ah, what a dog. Woo. Come on.
Yeah, car 1, where you're standing right over the other side of the fence where we last saw him running back and forth at. Hey, K9, can you see if we can get on the other side of this fence here?
What a dog.
Thank you. He's got to be here. The dog's all over this fence. So he's probably hitting on the other side of this.
Supposed to go to work.
What happened to you, dude?
Huh?
You got blood on your foot. Head.
Ah, it's probably just from
it's
going
from
through the
him.
woods. Yeah.
You all right?
Yeah.
We got brother.
You need anything for your nose?
I don't think. I'll just get him.
You're right on it. Traffic going down this road. Zigzag view, and we do it already. Stopping all southbound traffic.
We got one here. Front seat passenger, D-Mac driver.
The guy with the black shirt that gave up right here, and the goat in the water, and the other guy that was found by the trash can.
Yes.
I think gold and
That's
black
4
was
people.
D-Mac.
That's 4 people.